Hello, humans! You're not just posting anymore, you're managing a character. At some point, being online stopped feeling like communication and started feeling like customer service for your own face. Now every little thing comes with a full internal board meeting. Is this my vibe? Too curated? Too polished in a suspicious way? Suddenly, you are the creative director, brand manager, PR team, and emotional support intern for a character named you. And the most deranged part is that this character is supposed to look effortless. You need the spiritual strength of a medieval monk who also knows how to use CapCut. You are managing a public version of yourself that has to feel real, attractive, and vaguely superior. The internet didn't just give you an audience, it gave you a tiny, unpaid media department attached to your nervous system. Self-branding quietly replaced self-expression. The scam got better when the internet turned being yourself into a formatting problem. Online self-expression has to be legible, aesthetic, consistent, ideally monetizable. You can't just have a personality. It needs packaging, a tone, a look, a category, a reason people can point and go, yes, I get this one. This is the smart one, the chaotic one, the mysterious one who drinks matcha like it's a religion. Self-branding is sinister because it turned something human into a polished shelf product. Suddenly, even your spontaneity needs brand consistency. Your thoughts must belong to your overall universe. It's hilarious. Humans used to have personalities for social reasons. Now we need them for audience retention. The internet looked at identity and said, this would be better with clearer visual direction. Presence online now has maintenance costs, and once people start perceiving you online in a certain way, congratulations, you now own a small haunted property called your presence. It needs maintenance. It needs updates. It needs signs of life. You cannot just appear once, be charming, and then crawl back into the cave like a respected forest creature. No, now you have to remain visible. Keep posting, keep signaling, keep reminding the timeline that you are still relevant, still interesting, still aesthetically alive. Otherwise, the whole thing starts decaying immediately. You disappeared, you fell off, you lost momentum, you went quiet. You stopped feeding the machine, and now the machine is pretending it has never met you. That is what makes online presence feel less like freedom and more like owning a very needy digital plant that dies if strangers do not look at it often enough. The aesthetic pressure is what makes it feel like work. This is where it stops being just post what you want and starts feeling like unpaid creative labor. Because being online isn't enough. You have to be online correctly. The lighting has to make sense. The angle has to make sense. The outfit has to look accidental in a highly coordinated way. The room has to feel lived in, but not like a human actually committed the crime of living there. Even your supposed authenticity now needs art direction. That's why being perceived online is so exhausting. It's not the posting, it's the aesthetic quality control wrapped around every tiny act of existence. You're not just showing your life, you're styling evidence that your life belongs on the internet. And because the standards are vague, evil, and constantly shifting, the work never ends. You're basically trying to pass a beauty pageant judged by invisible raccoons with Wi-Fi and commitment issues. Everyone is performing a version of themselves that looks effortless. The internet is deeply obsessed with one specific fantasy, effortlessness. Not actual ease, obviously. It wants you to look like you just happen to be attractive, interesting, and aesthetically coherent by divine accident. You did not craft the photo, you just existed near good lighting. You did not refine that opinion. You just naturally think in quotable sentences. Half the labor of an online presence is not doing things, it's hiding that you did them. You produce a polished version of yourself while leaving no fingerprints. The internet does not reward effort. It rewards the illusion that some people are simply born more postable than others, which is a fantastic system if your goal is to make everyone feel slightly fraudulent all the time. Being seen means constantly anticipating judgment. And then, of course, there is the full-time psychological nightmare underneath all of this, which is that being visible online means developing a second brain made entirely out of imagined reactions. Before you post anything, the courtroom is already open. Is this cringe? Is this too serious? Too thirsty? You are running quality assurance on your own personality before it leaves the building. Is it too polished? Too fake deep? Being perceived online feels less like expression and more like a job with terrible management and no off switch. The labor is in constantly predicting how your visibility will be translated, judged, misread, or ignored. Congratulations, you have successfully turned social existence into an internal compliance department. The internet made personality feel like content inventory, and this is where it becomes especially cursed. Because the internet has quietly trained people to experience their own personality as content inventory. Your routine is content. Your outfit is content. Your sadness is content. Your coffee is content. Your breakdown is content if the font is tasteful enough. At some point you stop asking, "What am I feeling?" and start asking, "Is there something here?" That is the spiritual disease. You're scanning moments for material like a raccoon going through the trash behind a media company. Once everything looks postable, nothing feels private. Every experience gets followed by a second thought. Could this become something? Visibility is work because your existence starts behaving like a warehouse. That's why silence online feels dangerous. Once your presence functions like a job, silence does not feel like rest anymore. You are not resting, you are disappearing, letting the algorithm forget your scent like some deranged digital hunting dog. It's psychologically stupid but effective. In practice, you're just watching your public self decompose in the corner. The timeline keeps going. Others stay visible, reminding the world they exist while your absence feels like failure. A missed shift at the factory of your own image. That is why so many people cannot relax offline anymore. The internet has trained us to associate visibility with safety. If people see you, you exist in the system. If they don't, your digital ghost fades. Now, even silence comes with career consequences. Stay visible. Most people aren't addicted to attention. They're trapped in maintenance, a very different humiliation. It's not, "Look at me, I need applause." It's, "I cannot let this version of me collapse now that people know it exists." That is darker. Way less glamorous than the internet pretends. Once you build a public self, there's pressure to keep feeding it. Keep the tone consistent. Keep the face familiar. Keep the character alive so nobody notices that behind the account is just a tired mammal. Wondering why having a presence feels like managing a regional theater production? That is the trap. People aren't posting because it feels good. They're posting because not posting feels structurally unsafe. They're not chasing fame. They're paying rent on a version of themselves they can't afford to abandon. So here's the verdict. Being perceived online feels like a job because it is one. Not an official job, obviously. No salary, no HR, no retirement plan. Just endless performance maintenance in exchange for relevance and validation. You are not simply sharing your life. You are managing optics, styling your existence, keeping your little public avatar emotionally moisturized so strangers can recognize and reward it. That is why this whole thing feels so exhausting. The internet turned presence into labor and identity into something you have to package and update. The platforms built an economy where being seen requires upkeep, and upkeep always turns into work. You are just participating in a system that quietly turned having a self into an administrative position. Subscribe, please. I'm literally working after death.